Welcome to SI Now. It's Thursday, October 20th, and I'm Maggie Gray. Before we get to the show, if you're looking for a place to watch tonight's matchup between the Packers and the Bears, how about SI.com? Yes, we will be live streaming the game right on our homepage, and that's not all. We're partnering with Twitter to bring you 5 more Thursday night games throughout the season, and it all starts tonight beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern, again, right on the SI.com homepage. Be sure to check it out. All right, let's go to baseball. And in case you've noticed, and judging by the attendance you have, the Indians have managed to win a few here and there, and they've won the American League pennant. Those are the words of the immortal Bob Uecker from the movie Major League, with a little of my own twist on it. And since Wesley Snipes doesn't acknowledge the sequel, neither will we. In the Hollywood version, we never find out if the Indians went on to win the World Series, but we will find out the fate of Terry Francona's team very soon. For more, let's welcome in Mark Bechtel, the managing editor of SI for Kids, also a Cleveland native who's written extensively about the historical heartbreak and recent triumph of your city's sports teams.
Mark,
have the expectations for the Indians changed now that the Cavaliers have won a title?
Speaking personally, not really, because I think the teams are so different. You know, the Cavs were so loaded with star power that, you know, you expected them to, if not win the finals, at least make it there. It was sort of a foregone conclusion. Whereas the Tribe, it's just a much more sort of low-key, scrappy, lovable underdog kind of team. So, you know, I thought they were going to be good coming into the season. I was really excited about it. It was my stupid idea to pick them to win the World Series last year, which I still hear about a lot.
You're responsible.
My fault, my bad. So I was expecting good things, but, you know, it was one of those where if things don't work out, it's not, no one's going to lose sleep over it and bang their head against the wall.
Okay, so playing with house money a little bit, if you will. We all know the Cavaliers parade was just epic. What would it be like if the Indians won the World Series?
I don't know. I assume it'll be a little better because people they've had the dry run and, you know, they know what it's like. Yeah, they perfected it. They know where to park, where not to park.
Okay.
I know last time everyone was parking at the airport and taking the train in, so nobody could get their flights out of town. So presumably they'll figure that out. It'll probably be a little colder, which might impact things a little bit. Probably people will start, you know, warming themselves up with a few cocktails earlier in the day.
Shirtless Amon Shumpert and shirtless J.R. Smith may have to put on a sweatshirt.
Yeah, exactly. Cut the sleeves off or something.
Could 2 championships in a calendar year change the entire identity of the city of Cleveland?
I don't know. I don't know what to do with myself. It's an embarrassment of riches. I'm happy, and people are asking me why I'm in such a good mood and smiling, and I don't know.
It's not
I
like
don't know
you.
what to do. It's not like me at all. I'm grumpy. I'm grumpy, and I can't do it anymore.
You have to change your identity, not just the identity of the city.
I know. It's, you know, we'll always have the Browns to bring us back down.
Yes, 0-6
to keep us
Browns.
grounded.
0-6 Browns. That's the one sore spot. Who do you think the Indians would rather face in this matchup, the Dodgers or the Cubs?
I don't know that it matters that much. I mean, on paper, I think you'd say the Dodgers just because the Cubs are so loaded. But, you know, if the Dodgers beat the Cubs, then obviously it's for a reason. So there's no easy matchup. I don't think anyone's really in a position to sort of you know, beggars can't be choosers.
Okay. We talk a lot, and we have throughout history, about some of the worst moments in Cleveland sports history. But on Tuesday, the Indians will host Game 1 of the World Series on the same day that the Cavaliers are going to get their rings in their home opener for the NBA season. Is this the best day in Cleveland sports history coming up?
It's probably got to be. You know, in the closest, and I didn't check to see if there was an exact day, but in 1948, the Indians won the World Series, and the Browns won They were in the All-America Football Conference at the time, as you well know.
Yes.
So I'm assuming there was some sort of overlap there. And then in 54, the Browns won the championship while the Indians were winning the pennant. So you had these two sort of great times where things were going well. But as far as one day, one night, I don't think you can do better than that, especially with the events right on top of each other downtown.
Have all of Cleveland's sports demons been exercised?
Oh, no. Like I said, the Browns are still, you know, for most people, I think most people in Cleveland, most sports fans sort of rank it Browns, Indians, Cavs. So, you know, they're working their way up the ladder. But until the Browns do it, since that's where so much of the heartbreak has come from, you know, the drive, the fumble, sort of the cursed stuff. You know, I feel like until they win,
Jeez, you Clevelanders set a high bar.
I don't want to turn into like Boston, because that Red Sox fans, I have plenty of friends who are Red Sox fans, and when they won, it was all, just give us one championship, we'll never ask for anything again. And then, immediately just turned into, we're going to complain about.
So even if the Indians win the World Series, you still have to wait for the Browns to win to exorcise all the demons.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking exorcism of demons, sure. But, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. There will just be a little more. It'll give everyone something to look forward to.
We're going to have to take your word for it that you're going to be happy, Mark. Your face never betrays what's going on inside. Good luck to your Indians.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay, on behalf of all of Cleveland, Mark Bechtel, thanks so much.
Thanks.
All right, turning to the NFL, and for all the attention that quarterbacks get, is it possible there is a superstar able to fly under the radar? Here's our own Jon Wertheim with his thoughts.
Last Thursday, Phillip Rivers, a good player on a not good team, passed Dan Fouts as the Chargers' all-time passing leader. He led his team to a much-needed win over the defending Super Bowl champs. He probably saved his coach's job in the process. And he offered another reason why the NFL should stay in San Diego. And then, a few days later, the Patriots won again, and the Cowboys and their unlikely star QB won at Green Bay. The Kaepernick Roadshow hit Buffalo, and who the hell wanted to talk about the Chargers? It may as well be a metaphor for Rivers' entire NFL career. On numbers, he's as good as they come. In his 11th year as an NFL starter, he's on pace to throw for more than 4,000 yards again this year. But he's never quite gotten his due. Actually, check that. He's terminally underrated. Ask other NFL players. Ask anyone who knows to draft Rivers on their fantasy team. What's the explanation? Well, San Diego fans are likely to tell you it's East Coast media bias and the scarcity of Chargers games that get national TV coverage. Yes, Rivers lacks the NFL lineage of the Mannings, the up-and-down theatrics of Romo, and let's be fair, unlike Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees, Rivers has no Super Bowl rings. Plus there's this, he plays for an NFL team close to Los Angeles, but he's as far from Hollywood as you can get. Just a plain-speaking guy from Alabama. The image stuff, it doesn't do it for me, Rivers once told SI. Quote, I just like to get her done. Say this about Phillip Rivers, consistently, professionally, and in obscurity, he gets her done. And it's time he got recognized for it.
Rivers is also one of the most durable quarterbacks in the league. He hasn't missed a start in 11 seasons. The Chargers, however, are in last place in the AFC West and travel to Atlanta this Sunday. As for tonight's Thursday night matchup, that will be the Packers and the Bears. And guess what? You can watch it right here on SI.com. Yes, we're partnering with Twitter to bring you tonight's Thursday night game and 5 more games throughout the rest of the season. The live stream starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check it out. All right, moving to basketball, and all NBA fans are dying to know how Kevin Durant is going to fit into the Golden State Warriors. Recently, SI senior writer Chris Ballard caught up with the former MVP to lay out expectations for the upcoming season and to reflect on another move that greatly impacted Durant's life. The conversation took place in Seattle. Let's head there now. It's brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
As fans gather to get one more autograph, the players oblige without protest, knowing full well what the fan base is going through.
As a fan growing up, if they say they're going to take the Wizards out of D.C. and we wouldn't have a team anymore, I feel the same way.
For Kevin Durant, the city of Seattle has always been special. It was his first NBA home, the place where his career began. And earlier this fall, he had a homecoming of sorts. The last great Supersonic and newly minted Warrior star forward gave hundreds of inner-city Seattle children a gift, a refurbished basketball court. Afterwards, I spoke to him about his foundation, his motivation, and the challenge that lies ahead.
When was the last time you played an actual outdoor hoops game?
Probably last summer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I try to get outdoors a lot and play, and that's how I was raised. So it's always been a part of me. That's why I'm so, excited to, build this court here in Seattle and for the people here in Seattle. So playing outdoors has always been a big part of who I am.
And you were just mentioning you've got one now in Berlin,
yes,
Austin. How far do you see taking this?
This is one thing we wanted to start off my foundation with something small to impact the communities in a small way, and and as we keep elevating our our goal and our mission, we want to continue to clean up these neighborhoods. So I think this is a good start for us, and so I see it expanding over hopefully the whole country, man. So I'm excited about it, but we want to continue to keep elevating young people and seeing how we can impact their lives forever.
When I spoke to you in 2010, you were studying social work and education. And so it makes me think there's a root to this that goes back pretty far, this interest. Where would you trace it? Where's the origin of it, your interest in helping out kids?
Well, just relationships, just being in different relationships and having different sets of friends and that believe in different things and that were raised different ways. I've really grown to love, the maturation of a person. And, I think the only way that, a kid can grow is if he gets taught, by someone. So I'm really, really big on that, and I want to leave an impact and a memory that can one day spark something big. It's really huge for me. So I know how important those small moments are, and I try to be the person that provides them.
You could say today was a day we couldn't avoid. NBA owners say Seattle can say so long to the Sonics. In a meeting in New York City, they approved the Sonics move to Oklahoma City.
You ever think back on how your life would be different if the team had never moved?
I think about it all the time, and just being here, the fans, the community, the leaders here in Seattle, they all embrace, the team and the players. So I can imagine growing up here, basically. I was 19 when I started here, so growing up here would have definitely been amazing. I'd have learned a lot and met a lot of great people and really been into this city, to really call this city home. So. But hey, other things happen, and but I still feel really attached to this city.
And I imagine you'd probably like to see them get a team back again.
That's what every player wants to see, especially the guys that live here. They stick together and they fight for their city and they fight for each other, and they one big family here. So you can feel that when you come around this community, and it's just an amazing feeling. So me along with every other NBA player wishes the team comes back here.
And it's interesting. I interviewed Kobe a couple of years ago. Age 35, and I said, Kobe, it feels like you are doing what most guys do when they hit about 75. They get to that screw it phase of life. I'm just going to say whatever I feel, right?
Yeah.
Screw it, I don't care anymore. I wonder for you, I sense you're getting more confidence and distance. Do you see a point coming where you hit that screw it phase as far as, I'm just going to say what I think, radical honesty?
I wouldn't say that, because sometimes what I feel it shouldn't be portrayed to the rest of the world. But I'm starting to hit a point where I'm getting a grasp of real life and the difference between real life and basketball lifestyle. So yeah, and sometimes that comes with being more transparent and more open and more open-minded to different things. So yeah, I'm almost at that stage.
How does Kevin Durant fit in with the Warriors and that incredibly talented core that was already here?
Well, I haven't made the decision yet, but he might start.
Hey, he already signed the contract, so whatever you want to do.
What have you learned about Steve Kerr so far?
He gets life. He gets what's important in life, and he gets perspective. But also on top of that, he's a great creative coach who's going to allow his players to, elevate and grow, but we all got to do it together.
One thing you can steal from Steph's game, what would it be?
I think we do things differently. I love the way he approaches the game. I love his mindset and how he's just so free and carefree out there, and he plays with that joy. You can just see it in his face. So, that's probably one thing I would try to probably rub off on me more than anything.
The joy for the game?
Yeah, just pure joy and not worrying about anything else.
Now you're such a better defensive player than then, too. Are you looking forward to being an anchor of that defense?
I'm looking forward to just going out there and being the best player I can be, working hard as I can every single day. Whatever comes in between that, it comes in between it. But, I know what type of player I am. I know what I bring to the table. And I know if I prepare and work as hard as I can, all that stuff will come to light, and you'll see the type of player I am.
If I told you right now the Warriors would win the title, but you would average 18 points per game for this season, would you take it?
Yeah.
14?
Yeah.
Is there a number?
No, I'm just playing. I don't even want to put a number on it, you know, average or I'm just playing, you know. The ball's going to find the best shot. You know, I think that's what makes this team really good. The game's going to tell you what to do. So I can't even really say, you know, but if I'm on a team, I want to win. That's the most important thing.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
I have physically, verbally, and emotionally abused my wife. Those are the words of Giants kicker Josh Brown, written in March of 2013 as part of marriage counseling. On Wednesday, 34 pages of diary entries and emails were released detailing Brown's abuse of his wife Molly over several years. Brown was arrested for domestic violence in May of 2015, but prosecutors in the state of Washington failed to bring charges, and the case was closed. The Giants stood by their kicker. The NFL suspended him for 1 game. Michael McCann is SI's legal expert, and he joins me now. Michael, the case against Brown from 2015 is closed, but could these documents have any impact moving forward legally?
They could, Maggie. Certainly, it's within the statute of limitations, assuming the domestic violence was ongoing for him to be charged. He didn't go to trial, as you mentioned, although it's unlikely that he would now face charges after the case was dropped. But it's certainly within the realm of possibility, but there would be many factors. One is how long has law enforcement had these emails and journal records, and if they didn't bring charges already, it's unlikely that they would now. Moreover, we don't know the willingness of the victim, his former wife, whether she would be willing to testify. We don't know how contrite he has been. I mean, there are a lot of factors that we're not fully aware of. So in all likelihood, this won't lead to further legal action, but certainly his NFL career is impacted.
Yeah, let's go to the NFL side of things. The league already handed down a 1-game suspension. Can they add further punishment as a result of these documents?
Well, this really presents an interesting question. We know from Ray Rice, the NFL doubled, basically assigned 2 punishments to Rice, claiming that it didn't know all of the information. And, of course, later on during the appeal hearing, the NFL lost because the NFL was shown to have known the information, or at least had sufficient awareness. And I think the same issue is going to come here, where if the NFL now imposes a new punishment on Josh Brown based on information that it maybe had or could have had, maybe should have had, the Players Association will say, you can't do that. You had your opportunity to punish Brown. You declined. I mean, certainly he was punished a 1-game suspension. He was found in violation of the personal conduct policy, but many would find that to be far too lenient of a punishment. But I think the Players Association would have a pretty compelling argument that if the NFL could have had these documents and didn't obtain them, the fault lies on them.
Michael, moving on. Derrick Rose was found not liable in a civil suit accusing the Knicks point guard and 2 friends of raping a female acquaintance. Michael, were you surprised by the non-liable verdict?
Well, you know, it's hard to know precisely unless you're looking at the jurors and you're seeing the witness in court. Certainly the accuser made a very chilling argument that suggests that Derrick Rose and 2 other men aggressively pursued her and may have had sex with her, at least based on her account, without her consent. But I think one of the problems with her testimony is that there were defects in the testimony. She admitted to exaggeration about her relationship with Rose. She admitted that some of the facts that she previously relayed were not true, such as whether she already possessed a sex belt. Now, that may seem like a minor point, but when jurors see that a witness hasn't been entirely truthful, it undermines the central argument. So I think her testimony was not good enough, frankly, for a jury to find that it was more probable than not that there was preponderance of evidence. Now, Rose, I don't think, was the greatest witness. He certainly said things that reflect poorly upon him, maybe on a moral level, but on a legal level, she did not appear to be the kind of witness needed to win a case like that.
Michael, after a year-long investigation, the NCAA has charged the University of Louisville basketball program with 4 of the highest level infractions possible. One of those infractions directly implicates head coach Rick Pitino. Pitino was found to have violated head coach responsibility legislation, but he is not being accused of lack of institutional control. What is important about that distinction?
Well, it's important because it protects the university, that the university itself isn't being accused of wrongdoing. The university has already taken several remedial steps, including pursuing revisions of their internal policies, hiring consultants. And here the blame is being laid on Pitino, which isn't good certainly for the program in the sense that he could be suspended, and I think it's proceeding in the direction that he will be suspended. But the NCAA's argument is essentially that either Pitino knew or should have known, and under the relevant NCAA rules, even if he didn't know, that's not good enough for him. He has to show that not only did he not know, but that he shouldn't have known. That's a tough burden for somebody who's accused of wrongdoing, and he does have an opportunity to respond. He has 90 days, and then the NCAA has an additional 60 days to reply to the response. So this will take months to play out. We're looking probably until the spring of 2017, but the distinction is really that Pitino himself is being blamed rather than the school. It's unlikely that the university will face major sanctions, but I think we could see Pitino suspended for quite some time, and that could be in itself damaging to the university, given his prominence, given his success, could impact his ability to recruit, all sorts of limitations that could hurt the program and, by extension, hurt the university.
Michael McCann SI's legal expert. Thank you, Michael, for clearing up several cases that are in the news today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. That's going to do it for this Thursday edition of SI Now. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern when Super Bowl champion Chris Canty offers his take on some of the storylines you'll want to follow this weekend in the NFL. But until then, you can keep up with all the latest news on SI.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.
After about 3 hours of deliberation, a jury found Knicks star Derrick Rose not guilty in a civil rape trial. The Los Angeles jury cleared Rose and two co-defendants in the lawsuit in which a woman claimed the